Flair night in the world, not just America, but Flair night worldwide, wherever ESPN films 30 for 30 special. I believe it's a 2-hour special. I believe it's 10 p.m. East Coast USA time, so check your local standings. Not that I'm getting a damn dollar or a dime out of this situation. I mean, I don't know why I'm hyping up Ric Flair, but I am. But I do know why I'm hyping up Ric Flair. Ric Flair, as an entertainer, as a pro wrestler, has meant a lot to me. My childhood was, obviously pro wrestling in general, but of all the wrestlers, Flair kind of embodied the National Wrestling Alliance. He embodied later on the early stages of World Championship Wrestling. He embodied the territorial champion, the champion meaning that he went to different territories to defend the world title. As a character, a persona, we all know the cliches or the catchphrases. I won't say cliches, but jet flying, wheeling, dealing, kiss stealing, and so forth. Oldest fucking line in the goddamn park, but the longest ride or whatever the fuck. Talking about Space Mountain. Just Ric Flair provided a lot of fun, a lot of encouragement. For a youth like myself, where childhood was not the greatest, not the worst, but not the greatest, seeing Ric Flair on a weekly basis, Saturdays, Sundays, whatever other day, if there was a Clash of the Champions that week, gave you something to look forward to in your damn life. So Ric Flair, people might say, well, why care? But you do care about Flair. And even within the terms of wrestling, 1992 Royal Rumble, going over to the WWF and conquering 28 other men. Yes, I said 28, not 29, because Ted DiBiase was technically eliminated before Rick made his way to the damn ring, which was always interesting to me. Ric Flair was not number 1 or 2 in the 92 Rumble, he was number 3. So that's just showed that Ric Flair, 1992 Royal Rumble. I wonder if there's going to be a passage about that tonight on the 30 for 30 Ric Flair doc. I wonder if they're going to talk about the Vader match, the ear injury, late 93. We all have certain eras of Ric Flair. Maybe not all of us. Maybe sane people don't. But, for me, the sweet spot of Ric Flair was probably, you gotta say the 89 Funk Steamboat back-to-back. Who else could have, from basically February until May, an epic scientific series of matches with Ricky Steamboat, followed by the brawling and the mayhem of the Terry Funk feud, literally moments after, from May with the pile driver on the concrete at Wrestle War 89, all the way until the November I Quit match. Ric Flair's 1989 might be one of the greatest accomplishments for any athlete, entertainer, or anybody, politician, whatever you want to say. Ric Flair's 1989. He even took about 6 weeks off in that. From May, of the injury, actually 2 months. So, he had like a little rest period when he was coalescing the neck from the pile driver from Wrestle War to the Great American Bash 89, July 23rd, Baltimore. So what else can we say? Just looking forward to it. My apprehensions or my nervousness, I'm going to, that does exist. Ric Flair, Doc, hopefully it's not just him apologizing to his wives and children for, wrestling Carlos Colon in Puerto Rico or David Von Erich in St. Louis or whatever he was doing and missing, the school recital. Look, kids of Ric Flair, they've obviously done many different things with their lives, and they just had to make that sacrifice because Rick loved the fans of wrestling or the women in the nightclubs or whatever the fuck. I guess he just loved that so much that he had to just make a choice, okay? So, no offense to the kids, but, it is what it is, so forth and so on. But hopefully it's not a big apology fest. You know what I mean? Hopefully it's not just, I'm sorry to my daughters. Come on, Rick. Let's just be yourself. Hopefully that aspect, the apology fest, is kept to a minimum. We don't really need that right now in our world. We don't need people apologizing for being who they are. Okay? So what else? I'm interested in seeing how much, I'm sure WWF or WWE, whatever the fuck, Titan Sports or whatever the fuck, contributed a lot of material. Although it looks like a lot of non-WWE material, which I'm kind of happy about. And so on and so forth and so on and so forth. Now, is this an event that you come home and you sit on your ass and you watch live as it happens? Or is it okay to tape it? I'd say it's okay to tape it. I mean, I'd say as long as you watch it within 12 hours of its broadcasting, you're doing okay. I think, to come home on a whatever the fuck Tuesday night and sit my ass in front of TV, I might do that. I very well might, as if it was appointment viewing, Super Bowl viewing. But at the same time, I do like to go out and peruse the world a bit, in my own way. So I don't know if I necessarily have to be sitting there planted. I might just tape it and zip through the commercials. No offense, ESPN. Blah, 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 blah. What else? There's so many aspects of Ric Flair to cover. I don't know if they can do justice in a 2-hour doc. So that's why I'm really kind of nervous. And I hate to tap into that. But that whole, is this an apology fest? For the carousing, the drinking, the womanizing, and so forth. I hope it's not. I hope it's got a full picture of the guy. But once again, 2 hours, what can you do? I mean, you could just talk about this guy, Ric Flair, for days, for years, for decades. Will they mention Buddy Rogers? Will they mention Buddy Landell, the other Nature Boys? Will they mention Flair's, they've made people, Teddy Long, look into that. The referee has made allegations. That Ric Flair was not so kind to him. Mick Foley and Ric Flair have an interesting relationship. So will some of these aspects that may not be so, skeletons in the closet, so to speak, the arrest record, the drinking, will these issues be tackled? Who knows? We'll find out. So kudos, and I guess it's, Flair Night, hashtag Flair Night. Why would I give a flying cunt fuck about any of this shit? I guess, and sorry for my language, but I guess it's because little did I think as a young wrestling fan, watching Ric Flair and Randy Savage battle, or watching Ric Flair and Ronnie Garvin, exchange chop to punch, would I ever live in a world where Ric Flair would have his own ESPN doc? So I'm happy about that. I have met Ric Flair 4 times. I was in his presence the night that Roddy Piper passed away, and didn't really speak to Rick that night, but I was there for that. And so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. So Ric Flair Night in America and the worldwide. Kudos to Ric Flair for being an open book. Kudos to ESPN, the filmmaker. Maybe he's got another film in him someday. I'm sure he will. And we'll see what the hell happens in Flair Night.